Okay, this is the homework question that I asked you to do. So it's very similar to the one in the example. So Mr. Ryan McDonald, so we have to find the number of units he uses. So the meter reading is the present minus the previous. So this tells us how many units that he has used in the billing period. The billing period is, so say the 2nd of July, the 5th of May to the 2nd of July. So to find the number of units used, we can ignore the E and the A after that. That's just something, it means that estimate and actual. If you ask at home, they'll tell you what that means. But just the present reading is 65,490. Now, minus 64,914. So the actual units used were 576 units. So that's 576 units used. Now, this bit here, it tells us that his last bill was this amount and he paid this amount, so that's good. There's none carried forward. If you don't pay your last bill, it goes on to the next bill. Now then, this is the next bit here. We see the figure A here again, and up here we have A. But basically, so if you look, it says his electricity bill is going to be determined by two things. Number one, a standing charge, and number two, the amount of electricity he uses. So the standing charge is 25.2 cents every day. And a standing charge is when the service is available to you. You may or may not use it, but the service is still provided to you. It's like a mobile phone might cost, you can have a mobile phone, instead of €30 all you can eat data, you might decide to have a €20 standing charge and a certain number of minutes free, and then all the additional calls that you make would be on top of that. But the standing charge here is €25 or 25.20 cents for 58 days. So get the calculator out. So for 58 days, it's 25.20, and that gives me now 1,461.6. Now I'm going to divide that by 100. I'm going to change that to euro. So that'll be €14. So 14.616 cents. Now then, the number of hours, or the number of units used, each unit costs 14.10 cents. And how many units have we used? Well, it's back up here. It's this figure, 576 units. So we're going to multiply 576 by 14.10. So 576 multiplied by 14.10. Now that gives you 8,121.6, but that figure is in cent. So divide it by 100 to get the figure in euro. So the figure in euro is 81.216. And the reason that we change it to euro and don't leave it in cent is, well, you get any bill in the shop. If something costs €20.50, they don't say it costs 2,050 cents. So we're going to work as they do in the real world. Now, so that means D is my figure, the total excluding VAT. Excluding means it's not included. So I'm going to add these two figures here on the calculator. So €14. We don't need to worry about rounding to two decimal places just until the end, although it won't make a huge difference. So the total before VAT is €95 and 0.832 cents. Now then, we are told that VAT is added at 13.5%. So remember how we calculate 13.5% VAT. So at the minute the bill is €95, and so 95.832 cents. How do we get 13.5% of that? Just multiply it by 13.5%. So do that sum in the calculator. So remember where the percent button is, it's above the bracket. That tells me that VAT is 12.937. And F is my final figure. So I'm just going to add these two figures now in your calculator and then round my final answer to 2 decimal places. So €108.77. And then it's asking for that figure down here. So the total amount owed is €108.77. Now that's the way it is for the electricity. It's units. If it was gas, it might be measured in cubic meters because gas takes up space. So just find the number of units used, the number of meters cubed used, and multiply by the cost per unit. Add on the standing charge, calculate the VAT, and it should be okay.